I'm Alice, a 25 years old, fun-loving and adventurous girl, seeking a partner in crime to travel the world with and make unforgettable memories. If you are new here, let me explain a few things. You can chat with me as much.
All right, hey everybody, here we are again. We're two or more gathered. It's been a little while, but we've been busy pushing some of our product over to Rumble. So now we're on Rumble over there. You'll be able to see our videos pop out pretty freshly, like almost every day except for a Sunday here and there. We've got some videos. We got about 60 videos sitting in the queue, ready to go day after day. So you can go back, check us out over at Rumble, and the old one's back on YouTube still, so go back into the archive and check those out. So me and Dave, after a shoot, we were talking about AI and all the garbage with AI and stuff and girlfriends and whatnot, and I went home to edit a video, and what popped up in the little corner as an advertisement: come and find your AI girlfriend.
Yeah.
And it happened to look like about a 12-year-old girl, so the perverts are pushing, pedophilia and artificial
intelligence
replacement.
It's a mess. It's a mess.
Dave's been wanting to touch on AI for a while.
Oh yeah.
So after a little bit of a break here, we're back, and Dave's got some information on the AI substitute.
Yeah. Well,
the equal,
just a brief,
artificial flavoring.
But it's just a brief lead up. Why is this happening?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to try to capsize this as much as possible. Down through the centuries, we've been accustomed to an agrarian culture, farming.
Yeah.
Okay, for hundreds and hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years.
Right?
So back in the day,
if a man doesn't work, he doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. No, I got to ask: are we looking at that one or that one?
This one here,
right there. We can add. All right, listen up here.
Dave likes to work me hard on the editing floor.
Anyways,
save your questions for the end.
Here's what's happened. All right, so you had to get married. I mean, marriage was almost a survival thing.
Yeah.
Okay, two people got together, irregardless. A lot of times, if they could even get along.
Yeah.
All right,
arranged.
And they worked the farm. You had kids because you had to have workers.
Yeah.
So back in the days, those families were anywhere from 4 or 5, as many as 8, 9, and 10 children. Okay,
Yeah,
so you had the agrarian culture. You had your little church. You had a community maybe spread out over about 100-mile radius, something like that. You had the little town. Okay, where you had your barber shop, maybe a bar, hardware store, farming supplies, what have you. Okay. You're maybe talking a little town community, I don't know, maybe 400 or 500, okay? And when people married back then, brother, okay, it was different then, okay? A woman didn't have the entire world as a format, okay? Different now, okay, with click and swipe, click and swipe, click and swipe. She had possibly, maybe a young woman might have had a field of men, maybe 20, maybe 30, something like that. Then she had competition from other young girls at that time, all right? So they might have had to have settled with the short guy, but he's got a lot of money. Or maybe the tall guy, but he don't have as much money, okay? You had some variations there, all right, then, between money, physical appearance, physical attraction, but you did not have a massive supply, if you will, of partners. And this kind of worked both ways, but I think for women in particular, all right? So I think some marriages were actually arranged, possibly, could have been, okay? You had the Mennonite cultures, you had the Amish way back then, who stayed basically within their communities, all right? So now, fast forward here a little bit as time goes on. Then into the 20s and 30s, we had the industrial age. Do you know we had more inventions in the past 100 years than all of history of this planet, okay? Which, as believers, we feel about maybe 8,000, 9,000 years, something like that. Just the past 100. We've got the biplane, we've got the car, we've got just machinery to make life easier, washers, dryers, what have you. All to make things easier for the ladies, okay? Men are out there, they're inventing things, all right then. Now, with this industrial age comes different types of jobs. You've got assembly line people, all right? You've got managers, you've got CEOs of companies, then pretty soon you're going to have corporations form. Then you had positions where that were women possibly could have been needed, possibly maybe, I don't know if there were women accountants back then, but a lot of secretarial work, okay? So women slowly but surely started working their way into these jobs, these more mechanized jobs.
And then they flooded the workforce when the war came because all the men were gone.
Yeah.
There's no one left to work.
They were working the assembly lines.
Right.
And in England,
Riveter and all
yeah.
And
In England, they were manning the guns to shoot down German planes. Okay, so women started coming into play here. So fast forward a little bit more. Now we still had the nuclear family. We had Ma, Pa, and the kids. We still had that going. Okay, now fast forward to about 1950. Now we're getting into the 50s. Now all of a sudden, okay, with women getting a little more power, then they got the vote. Women could vote. At one time, women weren't allowed to vote. Okay, so then women got a little more power that way. All right then, and as time goes on, women seem to want more power. Now it says in Genesis. Okay, you can look this up. From what I've understand, okay, what I read about this verse, it says, and a woman's desire will be for a man. Now, face to face, that looks like she's going to desire her husband. And as a wife, that's perfectly fine. That's wonderful. But I think if you read into the wording a little bit more, her desire for her husband's power and authority is what, in a sense, what that really means, okay? We're all born into sin.
Yeah.
Ecclesiastics, nothing new under the sun, all right?
Which is the original sin, which was Satan, going after God's power. And
Exactly. Exactly. So here's what's happened. Now we have the feminist movement, okay? And I remember the Virginia Slims commercial, smoking what have you. You've come a long way, baby, okay? But things didn't stop there. Slowly, women got into more power structures, such as politics and what have you. And as time went on, with more jobs, not so fierce, like man jobs, like working a jackhammer on a construction site, okay, women now are making money. Women are becoming independent, okay? So, fast forward a little bit more, now we have technology is also advancing at the same time. So now we have computers, we have the technological age, and now we have what I call, I'm just going to fast forward again here, click and swipe, click and swipe. Compared to the little town, maybe 50, 60 years earlier, okay, where they might have, their field of men might have been maybe 10 or 20, plus the competition with other women. All right, now a woman, all she's got to do is click and swipe. Okay, and here's what's happening.
And now they've perverted relationships so far. Now it's not just the competition of pool of men. Now it's a pool of anybody.
Yeah.
Women, men, children.
Exactly. But what I'm describing here, brother, I think is why this is happening. So we got to see this from a man's point of view. By the way, I'm being objective about this. I'm not taking sides with this thing. We're just presenting the information, all right? So anyways, now when women get on naturally, they all want someone over 6 foot. Where back in the day, they had to settle for maybe the shorter guy with the more money. Now it's different. Now they can go into a grocery store, ordering up some food, or going to the where you buy clothing, what have you. They want that perfect fit. Okay, they want the 6 foot, 2 inch tall, 225 pounds, buff guy making $100,000 a year. Okay, over 6 foot. Okay. Some other things, requirements in there. Okay, I'm trying to be discreet here. Okay, a certain measurement for that, if you will. But I mean, literally, they want the perfect specimen. I've seen women interviewed. Well, how much should a man make a year? And these women are crazy. $1,500,000. Where are these guys? Now, what's happening is women are going for the upper 5 to 10% of men. So what's happening now? We've gotten, by the way, okay, being objective here, women file 70% of all divorces overall. 70%. College-educated women file up to 90% of the divorces. On top of that, 40% compared with colleges, 60% of women are going to college, 40% of men only are going to college. So also we're kicked us in, we're seeing a male epidemic of loneliness. Anyways, so with women going up to this top 10, 15%, you got about 80% of guys here that are just basically being left out.
Oh, yeah.
Men are lost.
Yeah.
Now, with technology, where we had 50, 60 years earlier, with the farming and what have you, everybody knew their place. It was more of a godly structure, God first, then the man, then the woman, then the kids. Now it's different, okay? It's all over the map. So now women can pick and choose whatever they want. So we got a population of about 80% of men that have nothing. So, enter technology a little bit more. Now we have these AI bots.
Yeah.
And they're so lifelike, it's incredible.
Yeah.
They've got this silicone skin, it's so lifelike.
Yeah.
I've seen these bots play tennis. I've seen them do karate. I've seen them box, get in a ring with a human, and they just absolutely destroy him. And so this is where we're at right now.
The old movie, The Stepford Wives. Remember that?
Yeah.
They were actually robots.
Yeah.
That was creepy.
Yeah. And that's something that was like preeminent
Right.
of what's going on now.
Is
So
it preeminent, or is it to their plan?
or something like that.
They always say Hollywood. Oh, Hollywood predicts, but are they just letting out what they already know? You know.
Yeah, exactly. So this is where we're at now. We have a bunch of lonely men. And a lot of women are just not complying with these guys because they want the top, they want the best. They're not willing to settle for the average guy. Okay.
I wonder why they're down in their basement playing video games.
There you go. And that's about it. They have nothing else to do. Okay. Not to mention the fact that men have been effeminized, put on medication, which is an absolute blasphemy.
Right.
Men are hyper. They're trying to get men to act more like little girls.
Yeah.
The schools are run predominantly by women.
Yep.
We don't have male teachers anymore. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. So,
Oh, yeah.
here we are. This is where we're at, brother.
Push them drugs on them to calm
Yeah.
them down and quiet them, and
Yeah, turn them into zombies, for
Oh,
crying
yeah,
out
for
loud.
sure.
And then women ask where all the good men at.
Yeah.
Well, this is what's happened. It's backfired,
Yeah.
ladies.
My oldest son, his grade school he was at had the highest percentage of kids on Ritalin, and they tried putting him on Ritalin. I'm like,
You don't need
he's
it.
not ADD. The kid can sit down and read a book from cover to cover.
Yeah.
He's not ADD.
They just it's a matter of control.
Yep.
Just like with the shot.
Yeah. Yep.
Same thing.
Absolutely. Yep.
Same thing. So here's where we're at.
Your agenda doesn't work.
No. So
Bad. Yeah,
Yes.
so that's what they're reaching for. I don't understand it, but I guess I'm different.
listen, Martin, we live in a fast food life.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about cooking. You go to McDonald's. A lot of time on my job when I'm done selling multi-dollar contracts of insurance, I'll go to a Quick Trip. I'll get an instant dinner right there. Bang.
Yeah.
Good to go. McDonald's. Bang. Good to go. So
Yeah,
relationships. Bang.
Right.
There it is.
Right,
Click.
right.
6'2", 220 pounds, bucked, 6-pack, 150,000 a year maximum. Okay, or whatever.
Yeah.
And everything else that goes along with it. They're ordering up men like they would some type of product, good, or service.
I mean, a lot of people go on the internet for companionship. I mean, whether it's just having discussions or seeking out friends or
Oh, you have these catfish.
arguing over whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, they go to the internet
Yeah.
for companionship.
You have these catfish.
Yeah, and yeah.
Imposters.
So now they're going there for actual physical, not physical.
There is
emotional dates.
yeah.
Or,
There is no connection. Everything's
Yeah.
done over this.
Yeah,
Like guns
Yeah.
can be good or bad. Okay.
Yeah.
This thing is turned into a very evil device.
This is a drug.
It is. It is.
I'm a person that walks with their head on a swivel. I'm constantly looking around everywhere I go. I'm not. One of
Yeah,
those people.
like your nose buried in that thing. Yeah, that's
And
ridiculous.
that's all I ever see is people just hit. I mean, we were at a baseball game last night, and they pan around and show people, and
They're on their phones.
they're like,
They're not enjoying the game.
and they look up. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm on camera.
There's a life out here.
Right.
Get your nose out of that stupid thing and look in front of you. There's a life out here. There's a life to be lived. But that's where we're at, bro.
Yeah. So Dave pulled up a video on YouTube, and it's not from one of our favorite.
We're not
favorite,
CNN people.
We're not
We'll be
CNN.
straight up with you. I'm going to get that disclaimer. We are not CNN.
Well, we're going to do a reaction
Or
to
MSNBC.
it. I've never watched it. Did you watch any of it?
Yeah.
You watched a
Yeah.
little
But
bit.
we're going to, not all of it, though.
This is a half reaction.
Yeah.
We will let CNN speak.
What if the biggest AI threat of all is to human relationships? The movie Her seemed like absurd science fiction a decade ago. A lonely, heartbroken man played by Joaquin Phoenix finds solace in an artificial intelligence female voice that he talks to through his phone and earbuds, played by Scarlett Johansson.
The woman that I've been seeing, Samantha, she's an operating system.
You're dating an OS? What is that like?
I feel really close to her. Like when I talk to her, I feel like she's with me.
You're dating your computer?
She's not just a computer.
You always wanted to have a wife without the challenges of actually dealing with anything real. I'm glad that you found someone.
That sci-fi concept fast becoming a troubling reality. As an example, here's one of countless chatbot apps providing AI friends. It's called Cupid AI with a K for Cupid. It offers several avatars with distinct physical features and a list of personality traits for you to start interacting with and customizing.
I mean, that movie clip right there is exactly what the way the world is right now. His friend like just validates it right away. Oh, I'm happy for you as long as you're happy. They just let perversion just roll right in.
Oh, yeah.
Without a, it's all the don't be judgy stuff. Well, you're supposed to use judgment. It's called discernment and judgment. It's
Scripture's loaded with.
You don't
with,
send
with
your
judgment.
5-year-old
Yeah.
out to a street alley to go get whatever. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, as long as you're happy. I'm so tired of hearing that. Love is love, and as long as you're happy. And,
Yeah.
And then look at all the girls that they're the avatars. They all look like they're like 12 to 15 years old.
I know.
So they're just pushing that sex trafficking.
Yeah. That's about it.
Pedophilia, child
Yeah.
molesting.
Yeah.
It's sad. Come on. 21? She's not 21. She's not 24. No way. She's not real, but
Yeah.
yeah. There was another movie out about AI too that was similar to that. I think it just came out more recently. But I'm like, yeah, they're just pushing that agenda.
But they're appealing to the flesh.
Yeah.
It's always been that way.
In Hollywood,
Visual, and men. We are visual
For
creatures.
sure. Oh, for
okay,
sure.
that's how that is.
Yeah.
So men like youth.
but they're conditioning people to accept it. Comedians
Right.
do it all the time. Oh, it's just funny. We should laugh at everything.
Mm-hmm.
Either it's freedom of speech. Either we laugh at everything, or we don't laugh at anything. you know?
Right.
So it's like conditioning. You slowly build up a callus towards things. And actually, a friend of ours told us that that fluoride is a causer of the loss of empathy, and that the governments pump in so much fluoride that we lose our empathy.
No, it's sin.
Yeah. Well, it is sin.
We're
but
a Christian channel
definitely
here,
being,
yeah.
We're definitely being chemically
Right, yeah, I can
attacked
see
by
that.
it, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, this is just. I'm sorry. I mean, there are a lot of lonely people, but this ain't the answer, guys.
No,
It's
it
just
isn't.
not the answer.
Yeah, get a roll in here.
For instance, here's the opening message from an avatar named Alice, described as a curious and open-minded photographer.
I'm Alice, a 25 years old, fun-loving and adventurous girl, seeking a partner in crime to travel the world with and make unforgettable memories. If you are new here, let me explain a few things. You can chat with me as much as you want, and I'd be more than happy to learn more about you and please you in any way I can.
Oh boy.
If you want me to send you a photo, you just have to ask it in the chat, like, "Hey Alice, can you send me a picture of you?" And I'll be more than happy to send you one.
You know what that's about.
But of course, to bump up from texting to more voice chat, as well as receiving sexy and, well, other sorts of pictures, Alice asked that we become a premium member for $9.99 a month. So we bid her farewell. But there are many who are engaging. The Hill recently published a piece by my next guest, data science professor Liberty Vittert, under the headline, "AI Girlfriends Are Ruining an Entire Generation of Men." She wrote the following: apps have created virtual girlfriends that talk to you, love you, allow you to live out your erotic fantasies, and learn through data exactly what you like and what you don't like, creating the perfect relationship. And that young lonely men, quote, are choosing AI girlfriends over real women, meaning they don't have relationships with real women, don't marry them, and then don't have and raise babies with them. As I've discussed here before, we're living in an epidemic of loneliness among young men. Professor Scott Galloway.
There's another aspect of the graying of the world when we had one of our
Exactly.
very first videos of population control and keeping people out of the breeding gene pool and keeping the world population falling right into their agenda.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're all about world population. They don't hide any of their agenda. They just come at it from so many different ways that they bombard it. You know.
Yeah.
What is the old shock and awe?
Yeah.
Shock and awe.
Yeah.
So you just bombard them from so many different directions, and you confuse people, and then they get to the point where they're like, I don't even care. Like me, I'm actually to that point. I don't watch any news. I don't watch hardly any
I don't
TV
either.
because they've got me to that point of like
they've taken over the airwaves.
And they want us out of the way. They want us out of the way because we're the ones going to stand up and do something.
Exactly. Yep. This is good. Get it rolling, brother.
Yep.
Told me that failing young men he perceives to be an existential crisis for the country. Why? Well, Pew found that 63% of young men under 30 are single, compared with only 34% of women the same age. 1 in 5 American men who are unmarried and not in a romantic relationship report not having any close friends. And according to Pew, there's a decline in the number of single men.
How can men be at 60-some% and women at 30-some%? Does that mean women are marrying older men?
That's a good question.
Because that demographic doesn't line up.
Yeah, that is a very good question.
That's not good math.
Yeah.
So either the women are they have to be marrying older men.
Well, generally speaking, women do.
Yeah.
I mean, usually on average, 3 to 5 years.
I don't remember what the age group thing was, but yeah, something's off there.
Men actively seeking relationships or even casual dates, currently around 50%. Joining me now is Liberty Vittert, professor of data science at Washington University in St. Louis and opinion contributor for The Hill. So not to be prurient at this time of day, but are all the needs of these young men able to be facilitated, taken care of by AI avatars?
Well, you have to think about this word AI that is in this. It's not a virtual girlfriend, it's an AI girlfriend. So it learns from you. It learns what you like and what you don't like, what kind of pictures you like, what kind of pictures you don't like. And while not all needs are met, that is the next step, is actual physical girlfriends, AI ones for that matter. And so the next step or the next frontier is one that can meet all of your needs.
So there's going to be some type of pairing between what I've already shown to the CNN audience and something 3D that's going to be, in your living room or bedroom?
Yes, I mean that is the world we are moving into, and as you said, it's enabling this entire generation of young men to continue in this loneliness epidemic. It's really the enabler for this to continue.
Professor, what's going on with young women? If this is a trend among young men, is there something similarly taking place with the ladies?
We don't see that. If you saw, it's 2 to 1, the ratio of single men.
Here's where I start growing some claws, some reddish brown fur. I grow to be about 9 feet 2 inches tall, 1,200 pounds, and I turn into a lichen when I hear stuff like that. We just got done explaining what's going on with young women. In fact, 75% of this, brother, I hate to say it, okay, started with feminism, started with the ladies, okay?
Yeah, but he was asking her, is there anything like this for women, not the cause of, like, is there going to be like artificial guys, robot types?
For women.
For women, yeah.
Yeah, but they're...
She said not as of right now.
Yeah, but what I see here is that, yes, the focus is on young men, but once again, no mention of what's happening with women. Okay, we have the divorce courts, all right? Men get destroyed in divorce courts. They get utterly obliterated, okay?
She's on your side. She said this is all enabling men. He just asked her if there was a counterpart for the women that was going on.
Yeah. Well, get it rolling here. Let's see what she got to say.
To single women. Young women are marrying older men because they want to have children. They have a biological clock, and so you see them being with older men. And that is obviously causing huge issues with birth decline. We've had a 50% decline over the past 60 years because women go with older men. We also see psychologically that younger women, they have more close friends, they have more wider groups of friends, and they are not being nearly as affected as young men in this sort of silent epidemic of loneliness.
Very true.
I have read about incels, involuntarily celibate guys who are angry about it. I think their argument is that women today are less approachable. Has something happened? Has something shifted in terms of the dynamics, the power dynamics between young men and young women? I guess that's my question.
I think there's certainly an argument there that, I mean, if you look at college campuses, there's more women than men. Women are having careers, they're having children later. So there might be an argument that men need to adapt to this change in women, but calling it women's fault, I don't think is probably the right way to go.
Stop
Professor,
right there.
Well, no, men got to take some blame in
Yeah.
how they react to it for sure.
Here. If we go back to the garden.
Otherwise it's the woman. The woman did it. You know, Adam put the blame off on her. It was both of them.
But here's the problem. Here's what Adam didn't do, and this is why the Lord came to Adam first. It's a 2-letter word called no.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It takes two to tango, and to put the entire blame on men is absolutely wrong. I just got this describing earlier in our podcast here what's going on with women. Okay, click and swipe, click and swipe, click and swipe. Women are not willing to look at the average guy, the mechanic, the electrician, the construction man. They all want these polished three-piece suit types, okay? I call a three-piece suit a tin can, by the way. You just slip it on it. Yeah, instant success.
They've been learning that from childhood. I mean, Disney taught that. You gotta have Prince Charming.
Yeah. No, it takes two to tango.
Shrek destroyed that.
Yeah,
Ogre.
definitely. But, brother, it takes two to tango.
Oh, yeah.
And what's happening is men are adapting. Men are adapting. Enter AI. Men are adapting. Women's expectations are through the roof.
Yeah, men are problem solvers, so when there's a problem, they look for a way out.
Right.
Fix things in a way.
There it is. Yeah. So men are simply
whether it's right
adapting.
or whether it's wrong.
Right. And if women didn't have a play in this, then why are we going into this direction to begin with?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to disagree with some things on here.
Yeah.
I digress.
Galloway, himself a professor at NYU Stern School of Business and host of a successful podcast, Professor G is the title of it. He's often been a guest of mine talking about the troubles among young men. I'm going to show you and everyone else something that he said to me on these airwaves about a year ago, and then you can react. Roll it.
But the issue is, when you have a group of men, the lower half of attractiveness of men in online dating, which has doubled, now it's about half of relationships, and the top 20% of men in terms of attractiveness get about 60% of the interest, you end up with a group of men that are more prone to conspiracy theory, more prone to misogynistic content, more prone to not believe in climate change.
Oh, really?
So this is the American story.
Stop
If
this.
it's written with
Dude, you're way off.
Yeah,
you're on the wrong side of that.
I would say
way off on the wrong side.
This guy is what you would call
conspiracy theorists. People that throw the conspiracy theorists are people who don't want to do the homework and look into things.
Exactly.
You're one that wants to lay down and say, oh, the government's going to do everything perfect for me and take care of me and provide.
Yeah.
And my government's beautiful and lovely. Well, you're the uneducated idiot.
This guy here, no, I'm going to describe him for you. This here is your atypical blue pill Bobby simp.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Believe it or not, that guy right there is the type of guy women actually, ironically, don't want.
Right.
They want a masculine man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
No, this guy, but naturally, we're looking at CNN here. Okay, Communist News Network. I'm cover. I don't say it. All right.
Those aren't the guys that don't get women. Those are the guys that do get the women. Real women.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not a conspiracy. I listen to facts and discern.
Climate deniers, all this stuff. Yeah, we could go off on a tangent on that one. I didn't want to do that, but anyways, get it rolling here.
You're in on it.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
You are the problem. God's in charge of the climate.
Exactly. Thank you. Amen, brother.
The pen whose ink is failing young men does not end well. This is an existential crisis, failing young men.
Make sense to you, Professor Vittert?
Absolutely. You know, what happens is these young men get in these AI relationships, and because the AI learns from you exactly what you like and you don't like, you end up having these perfect relationships. So that when you go into real life and you try to have a relationship, the most human thing we can do, it's not perfect, and there's ups and downs.
Well, I just said that. These women were raised on Disney and Prince Charming, so their expectations is of a perfect.
Through the rough.
You guys just.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it, brother. Yeah. I know.
There's no knowledge. I mean,
no.
I'm sorry, college doesn't guarantee intelligence or common sense. Or
a lot of times, college produces college-educated idiots.
It's absolutely. I've dealt with so many people. It's like you can't concept. Your brain can't.
Yeah, they got these degrees and they couldn't change a flat tire to save their soul from perdition. Yeah. Literally.
Right.
Downs, and they're not able to deal with these ups and downs, not only in relationships but in life in general.
Professor Vittert, if a young man has an AI girlfriend, is there shame in that? In other words, is this the sort of thing that you share with your buddy, or are you keeping it a secret?
You know, it's interesting. It started off as something that was kept secret, sort of like the porn industry. Young men wouldn't talk about porn, or that was Playboy was hidden behind some house somewhere. But then it became part of the normal conversation, and that's what we're seeing with AI girlfriends. Is now it is becoming part of the normal conversation, and it's no longer shameful, which means it becomes significantly bigger.
I mean, you saw, I hope you saw, I don't know if you have a return monitor, but we showed.
She said it right there, the line just keeps moving and it becomes more tolerant, right?
It's like everything else.
Then it was
like everything else.
Now it's this. And
we got Story Hour with transgendered freaks of nature.
People.
Poisoning the minds of little children and thus trying to seduce them. They're nothing but a bunch of filthy pedophiles as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
It's just pure evil. The only one moving the line is the devil, and if you're following him blindly, and acceptingly, and turning it into love. I had a discussion at the store picking up some materials, and we're talking about the presidential candidates, and we're talking about character and stuff, and they're like, "Well, you think Trump's got character?"
Yes.
I said, yes, he does, because he says something and he stands for something.
Yes.
If you want to talk about morals, that's a different story. Let's talk about his morals. Some of his morals may be bad, but that's not the character. Biden has no character and
no morals. Sticking his nose and little baby's hair.
Yeah.
For crying out loud, man. I saw one little girl, she just pull it away. What is this? He
goes wherever the wind blows, so that's not character. He has no character.
Taking showers with your daughter? Yeah. That came out. That doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
You're just feeding into it.
Right.
Can we put up again, Jordan? Can you just show the imaging? It's so sophisticated, and I'm sure it's only going to get better and better. And I'm wondering the impact that it's going to have on a young man's. There, I'm showing one of these avatars right now. I'm also wondering, much like porn being ubiquitous, it's going to raise expectations, right? If porn is so accessible among young men, they're going to have expectations that that's, the natural course of business, when perhaps it isn't. I think I'll say it that way. And similarly, when there's an avatar who looks like that, it too is going to set expectations. You get the final word.
You can set things down to their rear end size. So you can set anything you want, which is going to create really terrible expectations and just continue this epidemic of loneliness that has enormous repercussions.
I'm going to read some social media aloud, so don't tap out yet. Let's see what we have. Put it up on the screen. Here we go. Human relationships are hard. AI relationships are easy. It's unhealthy for technology to save us from all of life's challenges, says Conspiracy Crush. But Professor Vittert, I don't know how we put this genie back in the bottle, right?
I'm not sure there is a way to keep the AI genie back in the bottle. I think we have to address these issues at the root of them, which is where this loneliness starts. And that will be what solves this, if ever.
I know what we have to do.
One more social media. Put it up if you can, Jordan, and I'll read it aloud. What do we have? AI is a quick fix that will eventually backfire, I think, says Kelly. I think the backfiring, Professor Vittert, has already begun, and the level of sophistication when the pairing that you referenced is now a part of this drill. My God, the world's coming to hell in a handbasket. The final thought is yours.
I think we're going to see what we only dreamed of in the movies, and it's not a really good reality.
Yeah.
Everything that's happening here is because we have eliminated God.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We've eliminated his precepts.
Yep.
We've eliminated morality,
Yep.
right and wrong, okay? And now, naturally, we're doing the old blame shifting, gaslighting as they call it now, that's the new word.
Yeah.
All of this is happening.
Yeah.
Both parties are at fault. I'm not going to
yeah.
take sides
yeah,
here.
there's no doubt.
You know,
just like in the beginning, like we said
Right.
earlier, both parties were at fault.
exactly. Exactly.
Adam blamed the wife blamed the serpent.
It goes back.
Yeah.
It goes back to Genesis.
It's the same thing.
It really does.
Nothing
It goes back to Genesis.
It's just the same thing
Yeah.
repackaged over and over and over.
Exactly.
And you need to open your eyes and see
Amen.
it for what it
Amen.
is.
And this is what happens when you take Jesus Christ out of the picture. Once again, I've been saying this for years now, a mind void of God is chaos.
Yep.
Now look at what we have here. We got men looking in the mirror, they don't know what they are, vice versa with women. It's crazy out here. This is what happens. We've left God out. Now we've made gods out of ourselves, and this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Martin, this is it right here.
You were born a beautiful, intelligent, creative woman.
Yes.
You be that beautiful, intelligent,
Yes.
creative woman. That doesn't mean you can't work. It doesn't mean you
That's
don't
right.
have any kind of authority. It doesn't mean you don't have any kind of power. You have all of that. It's just in a different capacity. You were built for something different.
That's right.
I was built for something different.
Right.
I don't get in my car and go fishing on the lake. I don't get in my boat and get on the freeway. We were built different. That's all it
Exact.
comes
Thank
down
you.
to.
Thank you. I personally think that out of all the Lord's creation, and I don't want to be patronizing here, I obviously think a woman is the most beautiful.
Oh, for sure.
I can say that with full confidence. You know why? Because she's created in the image and in the likeness of the living God, the Lord Jesus Christ, just like men are. She's beautiful.
And Adam named her woman. Which
Woman,
is,
yeah.
Whoa, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoa.
Whoa. Look at her.
You know, me and Martin, the ladies.
He's like,
yeah.
I mean, he's like, that elephant was cool and the giraffe
That's
was
it.
cool, but dang, look
Yeah.
at her.
You got yourself a lovely little bride.
yeah,
A lot of
for
times
sure.
when I call him, I hear her kind of chirping away in the background. I just love it. I think it's beautiful. Relationship is beautiful. Love between a man and a woman is beautiful. The Lord loves romance. I've mentioned this before. He loves romance. He invented romance.
We're his bride.
That's right.
We're his
Exactly.
bride. Yep.
Look at the Song of Solomon. You know, some of those parts you identify and get pretty steamy, okay? But it's all within the context, within a safe framework of marriage, okay? Commitment, long-term
Marriage,
commitment.
family.
Yes.
It was all formed to be perfect, and
The beauty of marriage is growing old together.
it's simple.
Yes.
It is a simple plan.
That's right. We're not against anything here, me and my brother. We're presenting exactly what's happening. The
What is
objective,
good,
what's
what is
happening.
joy, what is love, what is happiness, all of that. You know,
Exactly.
he created
Exactly.
a perfect garden. You had everything.
Exactly.
There was one thing he said, do not touch.
Yeah.
One thing, and that's our
it.
human nature.
So
to-
I think one more little thing here, if we have any couples out there watching this or viewing this, okay, or if there's some parents or friends, here's the thing. And I said this to a couple recently, okay, young couple, I've done this twice now, all right. Make Jesus Christ the center of your marriage.
Yeah.
Bring him
put
in.
this thing down.
Yes, put that thing down.
Pick this up.
There it is. There it is. Make the Lord Jesus
Read together,
everything.
pray together.
That's right. That's right. Your finances, where you work, intimacy between a man and a woman, making love within a safe framework of marriage. God He made that to be beautiful, to be enjoyed,
she's not an
okay?
object. She's
But you
not an
bring
object
Him
to
in all
handle.
of that, all of that.
Yeah, she's not an object to handle.
No.
She's your wife.
Not at all. She's created in God's image,
Treated like a
guys,
queen.
just like you
She's
are.
a
That's
queen.
right.
She's
Yeah.
a queen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Our
Royalty.
princess.
That's right. All right,
So-
man. This one probably went pretty long, so we're gonna have to cut a little bit out to get you guys interested. I know you're interested for about 30 seconds.
That's
TikTok viewership, but we're not about that. So
Yeah.
we're about depth and meaning and truth. And
That's right.
information and
That's right.
Helping out. So
That's right.
I'm sure plenty of people will disagree, but that's all right.
Yeah,
You
that's
know what
okay.
side we're on.
Yep. Amen.
That's it for us. Punch that out. We're 2 or more gathered. As a little reaction, a long reaction to non-sponsored CNN for sure. So
That's right.
we're smooth on out, and Dave's always El Fuego.
Yeah. El Fuego. Yeah. Yeah.